Welcome back to Mickey Car Beauty. I'm Mickey, and in this channel, I like to review luxury beauty makeup and skincare. Today we'll be playing with the Byredo Metal Boots in the Snow palette, which just came out, and then also trying on and reviewing the 4 new lipsticks that came out this past 2 months. So if you're interested, keep watching. Today we're going to film a look with this Byredo palette. It retails $70, and last that time I checked, it's still available at the Byredo website, and you can also pick it up at Nordstrom's and I believe Bloomingdale's and Saks. I have ordered from the Byredo website before, and what I'll say is that the only difference, and it might matter to you, is that if you do want to try their perfume, they do put at least 2 samples for you to choose, but the shipping is very, very slow. So if that matters to you, it might take up to 2 weeks for you to get your package. I ended up getting this at Nordstrom because they happen to have a Byredo counter there now that they're not only selling the perfume, but they're selling the makeup. So I got this at Nordstrom just because it's convenient for me. And then I also picked up the new lipsticks that launched about a month ago. And it's these new lipsticks that they're a different formula, and then they have shimmer on it. So I got 4 of them, and then we'll be swatching and trying them on today. So my foundation is done. I didn't finish up with concealer yet because this palette does have some fallout, but I did put some primer on my lids and powder that down, which I found to be best for this type of palette. It comes in this really gorgeous gold oyster packaging. It's pretty weighty, $70, and it's about a 12-month shelf life and made in Italy. And I'll read to you the description. The newest addition to the eyeshadow 5 colors collection, Metal Boots in the Snow is an icy green harmony that adds transformative new depth to smoky eyes. The long-lasting formula gives perfect coverage with rich color payoff. Lightweight, creamy, and blendable, especially with the fingers, Metal Boots in the Snow's cool khaki palette is inspired by a winter walk in heavy boots. Housed in our treasured metal raindrop compact, it recalls the glamorous cosmetic cases of the past, now made for the future. So I've been seeing a lot of reviews about this, and actually I just seen the thumbnails for the reviews, but I try not to watch other people's reviews because I don't want to be influenced by their reviews. But what I do know is that of these 5 shades, one of them is definitely glitter. So it says this one is called Frimas, a glittery silver top coat, Strap, a deep rich khaki with glittering gold, Boucle, a matte dark bluish gray, Ground Frost, a luminous earthy green with brown iridescence, and Verglas, a celestial metallic silver. I usually film in front of a natural light in front of a window, but I'm losing light, so I just added an extra studio light to the camera. Just give you frame of reference. Okay, with this fancy packaging, however, becomes the downside is that yes, it's beautiful, but we're limited then to the oval nature of the palette. So the pan sizes are smaller. It reminds me a bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Memorize series, where it's these rectangular pans. So you can see my finger can fit in them. So they're not particularly huge. And these are the main shades, but if the side shades happen to be your favorite, then you're not getting as many. So here are the shades swiped of the first 4. And why don't I go ahead and do the glitter? It's glitter. I don't want to spend too much time with my fingers swatching it. So really the stars of the show, in my opinion, are these. Watch those for you. Frimas, glittery silver top coat. Strap, a deep rich khaki with glittering gold. Boucle, a matte dark bluish gray. Ground Frost, a luminous earthy green with brown iridescence. The last one is glitter, and it's harder to get that. I'll do it over. But so this is one swatch, and I'll do another. Okay, I'll get the glitter. Frimas, a glittery silver top coat, and that's that one down there. I'm going in with my worker brush from Sony G, which is part of the Lotus series. And I'm going into this ground frost color, the lightest green one, a luminous earthy green with brown iridescence. It's this one. And I've already used this palette 2 times before, so it's not a first impressions. And I have to say, out of this entire palette, this green iridescence color is my favorite, just because it has this beautiful shift. It reminds me a bit of something that would be in a Natasha Denona palette, maybe like Metropolis. And I think what's nice is that because there's like a brown shift in it, like the base layer might be brown, is that when I blend it out, some of the brown comes through, right, on the edges. So in a way, I really feel like this could be a one and done. At least for me, I like greens a lot. So I've used this as a one and done green color and just have put eyeliner on and then smudged a little at the bottom and then called it a day. So here's what I'm finding with this palette is that it stumps me a little bit, and maybe it's because I'm not used to using a palette like this. But what I'll do now is I'm going to take a Sony G Worker Pro brush and then go into this deeper green color, which is this strap, a deep rich khaki with glittering gold. And I'm just going to use that to deepen up the outer V. I can say with this palette is that it can get easily muddled, is what I'm finding. Taking my rougher 15 brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend those 2 colors and also the edges. And it just smokes it out a little bit. And I don't know if I would, you can tell the difference in that green is a little bit lighter, but the green at the edge, you know, it just darkens it up. And then we're going to take this gray blue and deepen up. I'm going to take the Sony G flat definer brush. It's a little bit of a flat edge, and kind of take this blue gray color. It's pretty deep. And then I want to smoke out this area here. And I kind of made a V out here, or a line for a V, and then I'm just pushing in the product a little bit to define this outer V area. And I'll get in closer so you can see. So here's that lighter green, the deeper green, and then this blue gray on the edge. And this is what I found about this palette, and I want to buff it a little bit, but I remember the first time that I did use this palette is that it kind of ended up a muddy mess. Actually, so this is like the second time I'm filming with this palette, is that I think it just turned out really muddy because I over blended and kind of sloppily put the product down. So I'm kind of being really precise about where I'm putting the product down, just because it's such a bold color story. And with bold color stories like this, it's not as forgiving if you mess up versus a natural color, like neutral color tone palette. So I'm just taking a clean brush again and just buffing out the edges of the product. Just really taking my time. Okay, I'm gonna go back into this just because I want to emphasize this color here, which is my favorite one. Just want to make sure that green pops. There we go. Okay, and then there's this silver shade, and I'll use that for my inner corner highlight. I'm going to take a rougher 03 brush and go into that non-glitter silver shade. Brush, Verglas 05 brush. It's a really soft tip. I want to take a little bit of this to just run it gently underneath here. And you can see that got really dramatic right away. And I tend not to like my bottom lid super dramatic just because it closes up my eyes. So try to smudge that out a little bit. And this is where I wish there was something else with this palette. So, it's not, I'm finding in my opinion that it's not as forgiving if you make a mistake. I always have on my top shelf are my Visi Art. These are kind of pro palettes, and I just love them because they have, this is one of my favorite, I'm gonna show you these are my two favorite neutral palettes, because this is for, in my opinion, this is the versatile one. Like, I feel like this is Nude Palettes original OG01. This is like part 2, and this is beautiful for people with deeper tans and deep skin tones. I love this one. So if I were to rank it to be, this is my favorite. This is great for just like neutrals. This is my version of Biba. I love this more than Biba. So what I'm going to do is try to take more of a neutral color just to run it along the bottom. Just one of those neutral colors. See there, and just kind of run it to chill it out. And I won't worry so much about it. This is why I didn't put concealer underneath there yet. So I'm taking some of that same brush where I ran it. This, actually I'm gonna mix these two, actually I like more of that, and just kind of run it along the bottom so there's more green. And then connecting the bottom to the top there. Do you see that? Wiping this brush off again, that 05 from Verglas, taking some of that gray blue color, this one here, and just dabbing it on the corner just to deepen that area here. So what is really pretty about this palette, it reminds me of like peacock kind of vibes, or a little Cleopatra action going if I wanted to really darken and cajole my eyes. But I think I'm not going to do that because I think I could play with it again and then do it, but I just want, for the purposes of this video, I just want to show you that. So let me finish up the other eye, and then I'll be back with eyeliner and mascara done. Okay, I'm back. I finished my eye look with mascara and eyeliner and put some bronzer and blush. To finish up my eyes, I used the Tom Ford liquid eyeliner in black and Chantecaille's Slate, a tight lined, and then smudged a little bit under there. And then because it's already a dramatic look, I went with my tried and true MAC Cosmetics Gigabyte for my lower lashes. For the upper eyelashes, I use the Pat McGrath Dark Star mascara because it's volumizing and it's like the va-va-voom mascara that I have. And then to warm up my face, because I'm finding this shade match of 17 for Lisa Eldridge is too pale for me, I always take up my tried and true Sisley bronzer. And I love this. This is the Baked Gelée formula. And I just used it kind of around in here to warm up my face. Did concealer, Pat McGrath LM14 Pat McGrath concealer, under eye powder, and then all over with Sisley loose powder Matte 2. And for the blush, I used Pat McGrath's Divine Rose blush, which is really beautiful. When I have a hard time trying to figure out what blush to use, I just kind of use that. It's pretty, kind of goes with every look. Okay, so let's talk about the eye look. So there was fallout, and this is the third time I've used it, and every single time there's been fallout. Even if I try to be really careful, there's always fallout. And it kind of annoys me, but I just know to do the eye makeup first and then try to brush it away. But even after, there was some residual flecks that were still kind of hanging out. And so that did bother me. In this look, I did not use the glitter look, and I am not going to use it today. I used it for the first time I did it, and I just don't want to risk these glitters getting into my eye. It looks pretty, but to be safe, if you do want a glitter topper or something to the like of this, I would just go ahead, and if you own Pat McGrath's, any of her special shades, to use those. Or I'm just gonna say it, that this is pretty much like my kids' craft glue in a medium, and I just don't like it. I don't want this near my eye. So that's the finished eye look, and I'll come in close. So the second part of this video is still Byredo, and I picked up some of the new lipsticks. And there's 4 new ones, and all 4 of these are have a shimmering finish. All these 4 new lipsticks are all with shimmering finish, reflects light, and adds depth. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna show you. Oh, there we go. So this one here is Feverish. So on my skin tone, it looks like a little peachy pink. So just so you know, that the palette doesn't have any scent. The lipsticks traditionally do have a scent because Byredo started off as a perfume company. So I have tried their other matte and satin formulas. I loved the pigment, I love the colors, but the perfume smell never dissipated. I even went too far as like keeping the lids off and letting it air out. Hopefully it would just like off gas or whatever, but it never did. This lipstick is so close to one's nostrils, it's really hard to ignore a smell. So I actually had to give those away. And so these ones do not have as much perfume. There is still a little bit of perfume, so just note that if you're really sensitive to smells and that's kind of a deal breaker. I would say that Chanel, and it's probably on par with Chanel and Tom Ford of like having that smell. So just so you know, but these don't have as strong of a perfume smell as the other formula. Feverish, a gently glittering pink. Sorry about my dog. And these retail $42, just so you know. This is Vieux Rose, a vibrant antique rose. Vieux Rose. And almost on me, it has like a purple gold shift. This next one is Amber and Furs. This is described as a warmly shimmering nude. So this is Amber and Furs. And this last one is Damson Jam. And Damson Jam is described as a high intensity pink plum. So I almost didn't get this formula, but I'm gonna say that Lexi Jong made me buy it. I saw her review of these lipsticks, and I love the Byredo pigment and the colors they come with. I just didn't like the smell. And so I think when she did her review, I asked her if there was a smell, and she said there was. So I took a chance, and luckily I'm finding, yes, I'm smelling it now. It does have that perfume Byredo perfume smell, but it's not as strong as the original formula. So on my skin tone, Feverish is really, really light. It's really pink. It's really pretty. This one is Vieux Rose. It's interesting. It says it's antique rose because on me it pulls very purple gold. Amber and Furs. It says a warm shimmering nude. That's pretty accurate. And Damson Jam. Maybe it's like not really plum on me. I feel like this is the plum. I wonder if they got the text mixed up, but for me, this is more rosewood and this is more plum. But Damson Jam is described as a high intensity plum. And for me, this is the deepest out of all of them. So why don't we go ahead and try those? And what I'm finding with this formula, I don't need lip liner, at least I don't think I do, because it's so pigmented. And I love this. It reminds me of, and I hate to say this, but it reminds me of the makeup that I grew up with and in the 90s. That's kind of like the drugstore makeup, but like way luxe. I mean, look at this packaging. So I forgot to show you the packaging if you're not familiar with Byredo. So these retail for $42. Again, these are available at the Byredo website, also at Nordstrom's, I think Bloomingdale's, and Saks. And it's a magnetic top, and it's got this natural curve. So the bottom is this gold, the bottom is silver and the top is gold. And you can also flip them around so that it kind of it has a wavy design. I love it. I mean, if anything, Byredo wins for me like the best and most innovative modern packaging with cosmetics right now. These are beautiful. But I like to have it like this, so it goes this way on my vanity. What else can I say about this company? It reminds me of the Chicago bean, that artist Amir Kapoor. Is that the artist? I'll put the tag here, but like the silver and the waves and the bean in Chicago or in Millennial Park, that's what it kind of reminds me of. So just really beautiful. So A++ for packaging. Okay, so we'll start with Feverish. Feverish. And on me, this almost picks up the kind of the peachy apricot colors. I'm pulling my favorite lipstick that I was wearing this entire summer, the Sisley Phyto Lip Twist. I think this is a peach coral, and I was wearing this every day. So it reminds me a little bit of that. This is more like the hot coral, but it's kind of the same vibe. And I love this because it doesn't have any smell, and it felt like lip balm. So just want to put that out there if someone else is looking for an alternative. This number 3 Sisley Phyto Lip Twist, love this formula. So it's a more subdued version of this. Next up, we'll try Vieux Rose, the Vibrant Antique Rose. And you can see that was one swipe of how pigmented these lipsticks are. So I'm gonna go in still for a second swipe and to fix up my, my mistake down there. Vieux Rose. And I think it's so interesting. They call this an antique rose. I really wonder if someone mixed up the copy on this, because this looks more plum to me. But you let me know what you think. I don't think this goes with this look because it's so cool. Here, so I'm wearing a light blue gray sweater, so it's definitely more cool tone. I think if I had something purple or mauve, that would be really, really beautiful. Or even like just like a gray or a dark gray, but not with this eye look. And I'll get up close for you to see. Okay, this one is Amber and Furs. And I always laugh when I say Amber and Furs. I think of that Velvet Underground Venus and Furs. So I wonder if it's a play on that. Yeah, but Venus and Furs, the Velvet Underground song. And so just, I'm gonna get in so you can see. There is some residual glitter on that. So it's not bad. Some glitter, some lipstick that have a little bit of glitter, sometimes you can feel the glitter, but definitely not on this. This is a very emollient formula. So this is Amber and Furs. Warmly Shimmering Nude. That makes sense. And again, I don't know if these lipsticks necessarily go with this color story. I think this would probably be, since it's so bold, it'd probably be really good with a nude color, maybe like Velvet Affair or Velvet Intrigue or Fawn from the Lisa Eldridge collection. But out of all the lipsticks so far, I think I could pass with this. Let me, Amber and Furs. Okay, and going in for the last one, Damson Jam, High Intensity Pink Plum, which is this one. One swipe, let's go in for a second. This is my favorite one out of this collection. You look at this with the light, it almost looks like a berry with some red and silver in it. Just, I'm getting closer. So gorgeous. And it's this color here. But what's really beautiful about this formula is that it just reflects light. It's so emollient. You saw me do just one swipe and it was fine. And this is why I don't feel like I need any lip liner. Really comfortable. Again, you don't feel the glitter. Yes, there's a little bit perfume, but it actually dissipates a little bit more than the last formula. But I think I'm gonna end with this lipstick, Damson Jam. Also, let me know if you prefer the studio lighting too, just so you can see a lot more details of the makeup when it's more lit, but you miss something about the natural light of how it looks in natural light. This is the third time I've been using it. This retails $70. So if you're to do the math, there's 5 pans in here. And I think we're paying for the luxury product and the packaging, quite honestly, and that it's kind of an edgy palette. And I think for some people, this is going to be either they're going to love it, love it, love it, or they're just going to be, I don't like it. I kind of don't feel like there's an in between. You probably will see it in the beginning is that the first time I actually swatched this actually moved. So let me get in here. It's pretty squishy, so I had to actually push it back in. So you can see that I'm actually probably hitting pan right now, and I don't mind pushing it just for the sake for you all to see it, because I'm not going to use this. So it does move around, and it just bothers me. I guess I don't like it. It's a glittery hot mess, and I just feel like I'm playing with my kids' craft box where just like the glitter glue is just getting everywhere. And so I'm like even hesitating to even wipe this, because once I wipe it down, it's gonna even transfer. In all honesty, I'll probably never use that glitter pan. So, you know, that does bother me, that I spent $70 on this eyeshadow palette, and one of them I know that already I'm just gonna ignore. And so, I mean, for the price of a $70 palette, I could get a mini Natasha Denona palette. So for the price of $70, actually less than that, I could get a Natasha Denona palette, which has 15 pans for us to use. So I feel like part of it is that we're paying for the Byredo experience. You don't see this color story very much on the market. I think it's very on brand, the color story, in that it's like modern and edgy. I think Issa Maya French is a professional makeup artist in the field, who is, I think, the head person who creates the color stories with the owner. And I remember her saying that she was interested in creating makeup that was not wearable. So I just put that out there. And she's definitely like an artist. So, you know, this is part of her vision. So is it worth $70? I don't think so. And I will say that I own 2 other Byredo palettes, and these are probably more basic in the color story, but I love them. I actually think sometimes these are a little hard to open. So I have 2 other Byredo palettes. I have Corporate Colors and I have Dysco. And Dysco came out earlier this year, I believe. So this was part of the first releases they had, and Dysco came out, I think, earlier this year. So I love this palette. This is probably my favorite Byredo palette than this one. And I'm still on the fence about this Metal Boots and the Snow palette. You let me know what you think. I think it's pretty. I don't think there's very much, I don't have this color story in my collection, just because there's a dearth of green palettes in the market for luxury, just because luxury palettes generally they tend to market what they think is going to be marketable, right? So luxury makeup might not be for usually not for the adventurous. That's what we leave the indie brands for. Or even Pat McGrath, I think people have been asking her to do purples and greens, and that might not be as marketable for her mass audiences, right, to buy that. So the color story, I would say, if you like greens and like this gold, this cool tone, and let me get up close so you can see. It's a look for sure. And I could probably make this more wearable and less vampy. Definitely not I mean, you could wear this to work if you want, depending on what you do, but I think it's a little bit too much for work. I think I'd probably just wear the green and then just some eyeliner to tone it down. But I mean, it really is pretty. In terms of quality, I would say the other palettes have better quality. And so I noticed that I had to rub much more to get some payoff. And this is from Corporate Colors. Just look at that. And that metal, oh, it's gorgeous. I just love that color, these 2 together. This was a little patchy, sorry about that. And the Dysco palette was also very creamy. Swatch some of that down here. I just feel like these past 2 formulas from Dysco and Corporate Colors is a better formula than the current one. I felt like I was digging in more for payoff, and maybe that has to do with the colors, I'm not sure. But my favorite color, which is this kind of shifting green color, I feel like I'm going to hit pan on it because that's the one I'm using mainly for my base and the one I'd probably use the most. So I don't know if you can see this. This glitter one definitely is kind of a mess, and then it was really kind of delicate. So I'm gonna leave it alone. It's probably the 3rd time I've used these lipsticks. My favorite one is Damson Jam, then Vieux Rose, and then Amber, which is the warmly shimmery nude. I'm still on the fence about Vieux Rose. It's the one that was like a little bit more plummy, and I have to wear the right outfit or else it washes me out, and I felt like it made me look kind of ill, but I think I have to be wearing the right outfit. So if I'm wearing purple or mauve, it might end up working. But I would say if pick a color that you like the best out of here. If you're a deeper skin tone, I would say the Vieux Rose and then more Damson Jam will look beautiful if you're medium deep to deep. And then if you're fairer than my skin tone, probably any of these or even that. I'm actually much more excited about these lipsticks than the Metal Boots and the Snow palette. So that's it for my review. And let me know what you think if you picked up. Did you pick up the Metal Boots in the Snow palette? Or are you interested in it? Let me know what you're thinking if you're interested. I think it got back in stock. And I think if you have a deeper skin tone than me, I actually think would even look more beautiful is what I'm thinking because of this frosty, the colors are gonna pop more if you have a deeper, richer skin tone. And that blue with the gray, it's gonna look beautiful. Even with this Damson Jam, it's gonna be gorgeous. And if you just wanna ignore that glittery hot mess on the other side, just go ahead and ignore it. Or if not, you know, the other thing that I was considering doing, it was going to Terra Moon Cosmetics and Clionot. I'm saying it wrong. I was talking to a beauty friend on Instagram about which independent eyeshadows that she likes. And so I was going to see if I could find colors similar to this to dupe because I'm afraid this color, I love this green color right here. This is my favorite. And really, if I'm gonna be honest, that's why I'm gonna keep the palette, is because I really love this green. So I wanna find a dupe for it. So if you know of a company that might have a dupe for this green, let me know. Okay, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me with this Byredo review. And as always, would love to have you as part of the Mickey Carr Beauty fam. So please consider subscribing, ringing the bell so you get notifications on my videos, which I try to post 2 to 3 times a week. Comment below and thumbs up. And I would really appreciate your support. I've started this YouTube channel about a month and a half ago and it's been growing. And I'm just putting out content of makeup that I like. I never buy makeup that I'm just to review. I'm going to buy makeup that I actually am interested in. You know, I pay for this all myself and I'm not going to just buy makeup to get like Instagram likes or YouTube. Like I really do love makeup. My favorite is lipstick and then bronzer, and this, it's fun. I love it. And part of the reason I started was because I didn't see too many beauty content creators in the luxury beauty content creation community that were brown skin, and I'm starting to see that more. So there's a couple of us and we're supporting each other. Makeup queens, I think Boucle started with some folks. We're getting out there. So, you know, women with deeper complexions and richer tones doing luxury beauty, I'm loving it. So that's really why I started, because I'm interested in buying luxury makeup, but I want to know what's going to work for me and not, because it's, you know, this stuff costs money. So I'm here to support the community and give my honest review. I'm never going to buy anything just to review it. I'm going to wholeheartedly buy things that are interesting to me. So let me know what kind of content you'd like to see more of, and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. It's Mickey Carr Beauty, and then I'll see you in the next video. And as always, be you, yourself, be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.